Let's be real. Most people using AI right now are kind of winging it. They'll fire off something like, write my essay about the Roman Empire, and then complain when the answer is garbage or sounds super generic. They treat ChatGPT like a magic 8-ball or a Google search bar with a personality. Of course they get hit or miss results and then say, oh, this AI is dumb. But the truth is, it's not the AI, it's the prompt. Think of it this way. Copywriting isn't just typing words, it's persuading. Coding isn't just typing code, it's designing a system. Similarly, prompting isn't just typing, it's designing a thought process. It's basically the language between what you intend and what the AI does. In today's world, this skill is like a new superpower. If you can't clearly communicate with intelligent machines, well, you might end up taking orders from them. The most popular mistake is vague or very short prompts. If you just ask, give me 10 business ideas, you'll get a random grab bag of generic ideas. There's zero context. Add specifics. Tell the AI what industry, what constraints or criteria, what goal you have. Give me 10 tech startup ideas in education that could be started with under $10,000. Now the AI has some meat to work with and your results will be far more relevant. Mistake number 2, treating AI like a search engine. Many people copy-paste their Google queries into ChatGPT. Best Italian restaurants, and they expect a neat list like a search result. But ChatGPT isn't searching the web like we do, it's generating an answer based on patterns in its training data. Ask for a specific output, not just a fact. Act as a local foodie and write a fun 2-paragraph review of the best Italian restaurant in NYC for a first-time visitor. This prompt gives context and a clear task, so the answer will be flavorful and tailored, not just a plain list of restaurants. The third mistake is fluff. We've all been overly polite to AI at some point. Please, if you don't mind, could you maybe help summarize this? Thanks. All those niceties don't make the answer better, they just dilute your instructions. The AI doesn't have feelings to hurt. Drop the extra fluff and be direct. Summarize this article in 2 paragraphs, focusing on the main argument. Clear and to the point. Trust me, the AI won't get offended. Then we have those one-shot requests you're all guilty of. People often try to cram everything into one prompt or ask for something extremely broad in one go. That's like trying to solve a big puzzle in a single move. Instead, break it down. If it's a complex task, use multiple prompts in sequence, or at least give step-by-step instructions in your prompt. You'll get a much better outcome by guiding the AI through the problem in smaller pieces. Now I get it, doing just a single prompt feels quick and easy, minimal thinking, one hit, done. And yes, with most AIs, a one and done can turn out pretty bad or generic. But there actually is a way to fire off one prompt and get an entire report, slide deck, spreadsheet, web page, and even a podcast back. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what Skyworks AI agents do. 5 content types from a single command. It's like having an army of assistants handling your deep research and content creation for you behind the scenes. I've tried it and I basically cut out 90% of my workload on big projects using this tool. How does it work? Skywork is built on a deep research framework that digs up way more relevant info than your standard AI. It pulls in 10x more source material than typical tools and then turns it into whatever format you need. Need a report with charts? You got it. Skywork automatically adds a couple of visual charts so you're not stuck with a wall of text. Need a slide presentation or a spreadsheet analysis? Done and done, all from the same single prompt. The best part is Skywork doesn't just blindly generate stuff, it actually checks what you really want. It uses something called a clarification card. Basically, after you give it a prompt, it might ask a follow-up question or give you multiple choice options saying, hey, just to be sure, is this what you meant? This little check-in means you end up with an output that actually matches your intent. Oh, and did I mention it's about 40% the cost of running on OpenAI's API? They managed to make it cheaper and pretty darn high quality, ranking at the top of some independent AI valuations. For anyone serious about efficiency who wants to supercharge their workflow, Skywork is a no-brainer. It's literally built to save time and deliver better results than most single-purpose AI tools can. I will put a link in the description. Check it out if you want to see how it can transform your work. My absolute favorite mistake is not iterating or debugging. You can't imagine how often people settle for the first thing they get. The first answer the AI gives you might be okay, but not great. Treat the first output as a draft, not the final result. If it's not what you wanted, refine your prompt and try again. Ask follow-up questions. Actually make it funnier and shorten it by 50 words. The AI will revise accordingly. You can even ask the AI, what information do you need from me to improve this answer? And you'll be amazed. The AI might literally tell you how to prompt it better to get what you're after. If you want to shortcut, our generative AI course Inside AI Master Membership breaks down a battle-tested debugging playbook, universal tweaks that boosted our copy workflow by 30%, and can help you sharpen every other AI output. Before you hit enter, ask yourself, what exactly do I want? Who's my audience and who will use this output? What format or style am I looking for? Is there any info the AI might need to know? Jot those down. That's your quick prompt outline. Alright, now that we know what not to do, let's get into what actually works. Think of this as the core toolkit for effective prompting. The first technique is something called first principles thinking. Sounds fancy, but it's basically about breaking things down to the fundamentals. It means not just copying a generic prompt you found online, instead, figure out exactly what pieces need to be in your prompt from the ground up for your specific task. In the world of prompts, these are like the atoms that make up a good prompt. Let's look at this example of prompt for writing a job description for an accountant and its key components. Goal outcome. What do you want to achieve? A polished LinkedIn post from rough notes, a summary of an article, a step-by-step plan. Be specific about the end goal so the AI knows where it's heading. Key information. Context. What facts or source material should the AI use? Are you giving it an article, data, or details to include? If you have notes or a draft, mention that. Basically, feed it the relevant info it needs to do the job. Constraints. What are the limits or rules? Word count, tone, professional, or casual? Things to avoid or include. For example, keep it under 200 words. Or use a friendly tone and don't mention 2020. Constraints are like guardrails that keep the AI from veering off track. Process or steps. Do you want the AI to follow a certain process? Maybe you want a step-by-step solution, or you want it to first create an outline, then fill it in. You can instruct it. First, list questions to clarify the problem. Then, answer them one by one. If the method matters, spell it out. Quality checks, validation. How will you know the output is good? You can tell the AI to include a specific example or double-check its answer. For instance, if any step is unclear, ask a follow-up question before finalizing. This way, the AI will try to ensure it's meeting your criteria. Iteration plan. If applicable, let the model know how to handle revisions. For example, give me 3 options and I'll pick the best one to refine further. You won't include this in every prompt, but it's part of thinking ahead for complex tasks. If you miss one of these components, the AI has to guess to fill the gap. And we don't want it guessing with our important tasks. That's how you end up with weird or wrong outputs. By covering these bases, you're basically hand-holding the AI towards the result you want. First principles thinking can feel a bit abstract, so here's a super practical framework I use daily. The 5-box prompt. Imagine your prompt has 5 boxes you need to fill in, left to right. Role. Who or what do you want the AI to pretend to be? Setting a role gives the response a voice or perspective. E.g., you are a travel blogger, you're an expert financial advisor. This influences the style and expertise of the answer. Task. What is the actual task or output you want? Start this part with a verb. Write a city guide, draft a budget report, answer a question, etc. Be explicit about what you want it to do. Context. What background information or situation should it consider? Here's where you put any relevant details. For example, the reader is a first-time visitor to Paris with 2 days to explore. Or, here are main points from our meeting notes. Bullet point list. Give it the information it needs to do a good job. Remember, the AI knows a lot generally, but it doesn't know specifics about your situation unless you tell it. Constraints. What are the rules or limits? This could be format like bullet points, or 600 words max, tone, professional and friendly tone, or maybe use lots of emojis. Keep it casual. Or content requirements. Avoid mentioning our competitor, or include at least one famous quote. Constraints are like the do's and don'ts that keep the AI's answer in bounds and useful. Output format. What should the answer look like? Do you want a paragraph, a numbered list, JSON code, a Q&A format? If you need the answer in a specific structure or style, say so. The AI isn't a mind reader with formatting. You have to paint that picture for it. You might not always label each of these parts explicitly in your prompt. You don't have to write raw every time, but mentally checking each box really helps. It's my go-to formula for any prompt. Raw, task, context, constraints, format. Fill those in, and you've basically written a mini contract for the AI. Here's what I expect you to do. And 9 times out of 10, the AI will deliver something on point because you covered all the bases. Next up, prompt chaining. This is one of my favorites because it's all about thinking in steps instead of trying to get the perfect answer in one giant leap. Prompt chaining means linking multiple prompts together where each prompt builds on the last. Think of it as a conversation where you guide the AI through a process, rather than demanding a complex answer outright. Complex problems are easier to solve when you break them down. Even us humans work this way. You wouldn't try to write a 10-page report in one stream of consciousness without making an outline, right? Same with AI. You'll often get better results with 5 smaller, focused prompts in sequence than one super broad prompt. Let's say I want to develop a client onboarding process for a new business. I could ask in one go, hey, ChatGPT, write me a complete onboarding plan for new clients. But that's so broad, I'd probably get a generic one-size-fits-all checklist. Instead, using prompt chaining, I would break it into steps like prompt 1. What are the top 3 feelings a new client might have in their first week after signing up? Prompt 2. Great, how can we address those feelings and turn any confusion or uncertainty into confidence for the client? Prompt 3. Now, draft the first welcome email that uses an empathetic tone and one of those strategies to boost the client's confidence. Make it short, personal, and friendly. Prompt 4. Awesome. Now turn that email into a 1-minute phone call script for a welcome call, spoken in a friendly, casual tone by a company founder. Prompt 5. What's one simple automation we could add to this process to improve response rates or client satisfaction? See how each prompt digs one layer deeper? We went from understanding the client's feelings to addressing them to creating actual content, an email and a call script, to even improving the process. By the end, we have well thought out onboarding flow. If I'd fire off a single write me an onboarding plan prompt, the AI would have missed all those nuanced pieces because we co-created the solution step by step. Good prompts are all that matters, you hear me? I've compiled years of knowledge into our brand new revenue-focused Prompt Lab Pro, and to keep you in the driver's seat, each template includes a concise walkthrough that unpacks the reasoning behind the prompt, so you're not just copy and pasting, but tweaking with full control over the outcome. Now you might be thinking, wait, earlier you said one detailed prompt is king, and now you're talking about chaining. Exactly. They're not conflicting, they're complementary. A big, detailed prompt is perfect when you know the destination. Prompt chaining shines when the task is complex or fuzzy, letting you refine as you go. Think of it like this. First principles and 5-box prompts help you frame the problem. Prompt chaining helps you explore and refine the problem. In the onboarding example, we actually built depth in layers instead of trying to force all the depth in one step. All right, this next technique might blow your mind a bit. It's called meta prompting, and it means using AI to help you write better prompts. Think of it as prompting about prompting. You're basically asking the AI to step back and act like a prompt writing coach or consultant. Why do this? Because sometimes you don't even know how to ask for what you need, but the AI might if you prompt it the right way. You start treating the AI less like a mind-reading genie and more like a collaborator in figuring out your task. Again, let's say I want to use an AI image generator to create an infographic about climate change impacts. I can literally just ask ChatGPT to help me craft the prompt. I want to create an infographic about climate change impacts using an AI image generator. What information do you need from me to help craft the best prompt for that, and can you guide me in writing that prompt? The AI might start interviewing me to gather context. Pretty cool. I then provide answers and follow up with, using that info, can you draft the optimal prompt to get a great infographic? And voila. ChatGPT writes out a detailed prompt tailor-made for my needs. It's a prompt I might not have come up with on my own. I effectively used AI to design my prompt for another AI. Pretty cool, right? We do this in our business all the time. Instead of guessing the best prompt via trial and error, we'll ask our custom GPT-based assistant things like, what structure should a prompt have to accomplish X task? Or give me a step-by-step prompting plan to achieve Y using tool Z. The AI often responds with an outline or even a full sample prompt that we can then copy over to the other system. The goal isn't to have the AI do all your thinking for you, it's to collaborate with the AI to build the perfect ask. The meta prompting approach is super useful when you're stuck or dealing with something unfamiliar. It doesn't mean you let the AI do all the work. You still use your judgment, but it's a great way to generate ideas and structures you might not have thought of. In the AI era, thinking about your thinking, metacognition, turns into prompting about your prompting, meta prompting. And mastering that really separates casual users from power users. Now here's where things get really powerful. Combining chaining and meta prompting to create what I'd call an intelligent workflow. This isn't so much a separate technique as it is the holy grail of putting it all together. When you chain prompts and occasionally step back to ask the AI for guidance, you're orchestrating a mini AI-driven workflow. Think back to that client onboarding example. We could have started with a meta prompt like, hey, ChatGPT, I need to create a client onboarding sequence. What information do you need from me to plan this out, and what steps should we take? The AI will then outline a plan and give me the roadmap. Then I can follow that roadmap with individual prompts as we did earlier. This hybrid approach makes sure I cover all the bases and maybe even catch things I wouldn't have considered at first. Let's bring this down to earth with a few lifestyle examples across different AI tasks. I'll walk you through how I'd prompt in a text scenario and an image scenario. I need to write a professional email to a client who's upset about a delay in their project. A lot of people might just type something like, apologize for delay in project, and hope the AI gives a decent email. Not us. We know to use structured prompting. When I send this prompt, ChatGPT will churn out a nicely structured email. It will go on to explain exactly what happened and how we're fixing it, then end on a positive, reassuring note. This email sounds human, addresses the client's concerns, and stays professional. And I got it in one go because I gave the AI all the right information up front. That's structured thinking in action for a text-based task. Now let's generate an image. I want an AI-created illustration for a blog post about winter travel. For this, I can use any tool like ChatGPT 4o, Midjourney, or Grok's image generation. A rookie might try a one-liner prompt like a winter scene and end up with something super generic. Not us. We know to be detailed and specific. Look at this huge prompt. Yes, that's a mouthful, but when I hit generate, the AI isn't guessing what I want. It clearly sees the cozy cabin, the snow, the warm light, the art style cues, everything I described. 9 times out of 10, I'll get a beautiful image close to what I imagined. If something's off, say the style isn't quite right, I can tweak that part of the prompt. And remember about negative prompts. For example, if the initial image had unwanted elements, I might add a negative like no people outside, no text, no bright full moon, to remove distractions. Not all tools let you explicitly do negative prompts, but you can always mention things to avoid directly in your prompt. Even with all these techniques, sometimes a prompt just doesn't give you what you expected. Maybe the style is wrong, or it outputs nonsense. Don't panic. This happens to everyone, even the pros. The key is knowing how to debug your prompts. First, actually reread what you wrote. You'd be surprised how often a prompt misfires because of a simple missing detail. Maybe you asked for a summary, but didn't specify how long or what to focus on, so the AI made a guess. Or you used a pronoun like it, without a clear reference, so the AI got confused about what it was. Little things like that can throw a machine off. Clarify any vague wording and run it again. If the output is too long, too short, too formal, too casual, whatever, add a constraint or tweak one. Just say something like, use a casual tone, or keep the answer under 5 sentences in your next try. The model is quite literal. If you don't explicitly say, don't do X, it might just go ahead and do X. So tighten the rules as needed. If the AI isn't following the format you want, show it an example of the format. For instance, list these as bullet points like, idea 1 with detail, and so on. If you need a specific style, giving even one mini example in your prompt can calibrate it instantly. Well, sometimes it's not you, it's the AI. Different AI models have different skills. Maybe another model like Claude or Gemini or Grok might handle your task better. Some are better at coding, some at creativity, some at certain languages or topics. The prompting techniques stay the same, but each model has its strengths. And above all, remember, iteration is part of the process. Even top prompt engineers rarely nail it in one shot. They just iterate so fast, you don't realize it. The beauty of working with AI is that it's fast and low cost to try again. You can test a prompt, get a result in seconds, tweak something, and run again. So use that to your advantage. And if you're serious about leveling up faster, that's exactly why we built AI Master Membership. Inside, you'll find a complete prompting system that helps you move from trial and error to clarity and results. You get step-by-step video lessons, smart PDF templates, walkthroughs for each model's quirks, and the exact workflows we use in our own AI projects. It's the shortcut we wish we had when starting out. And if you're watching this in AI Master, there's a 63% discount on the 1-year plan waiting. Hit the link and finally get your prompting game out of the theory zone and into real output. You've just learned something that 99% of people still haven't. Look, AI isn't going to reward you just for working harder. It rewards you for thinking clearer and asking better questions. The gap between someone who shrugs and says, AI is overrated, and someone who says, I just use AI to solve in 2 minutes what used to take me 2 days, comes down to these skills you are developing right now. You're literally future-proofing your career, your studies, or your business by practicing this. So start applying these techniques. Next time you open ChatGPT or Claude or whatever AI tool you like, don't just wing it. Take a breath and remember the 5 boxes. Consider doing a chain of prompts, think in first principles, maybe even ask the AI to help you formulate the prompt. Then go for it. Experiment and have fun with it. And hey, if you want to dive deeper or practice with others, you're not alone. We built an amazing community of AI enthusiasts where people share prompt ideas, run free AI challenges to hone their skills, and help each other level up. It's honestly one of the best ways to stay sharp. So check out the links in the description if you want to join us or find some of the resources I mentioned. Until next time, keep prompting with purpose, and I will see you in the next one.